request to speak to students, professional groups, organizations, and associations. Attorney Roy Copeland has been practicing law for many years. In 1986, he began his partnered law firm, Copeland, Hollybrook, and Walker of Valdosta, Georgia. He has also worked as an assistant professor of public law at Valdosta State College from 1984 to 1992. And he worked as an adjunct professor of business law at Georgia State University in Atlanta, Georgia, from 1983 to 1984. Attorney Copeland promotes education, and he is a great example to follow. He has graduated from the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, California, in January 1979. He graduated with honors as magna cum laude with a degree in political science and a minor in business administration. He also graduated from the University of Georgia School of Law, June 1983, and Temple University of Law, April 2009. Attorney Copeland participates in several activities and honorable programs such as Phi Beta Kappa, Phi Sigma Alpha, National Honor Society, and many more. He has been successful with much significance litigation, such as black police officers versus City of Valdosta and the City of Valdosta Police Department, and more. Attorney Copeland has a plethora of publications, and he currently has research in progress. Additionally, he participates in many professional activities, community organizations, and community service. Now may I please welcome Attorney Roy Copeland.
Thank you, Haley, for the wonderful introduction. I'd like to thank a whole bunch of people before I get started. Most of all, I'd like to thank the young people that were celebrating today. Let's give them a big round of applause. I'm not really sure that we celebrate young people enough these days. You know, when I was growing up, there was one graduation, that was it. I think the more often we do this to affirm to young people that they're doing a great job, the better off they will be. Thank you, young people, for having me. I'd like to thank the administration of Valdosta Middle School, Ms. Deloach, Ms. Hampton, there are others. I also like to thank some of your predecessors. I think Dr. Cole is out there as well. Thank you. The teachers, none of this would be possible without you, and I have to thank teachers because my wife is a teacher, and if I didn't thank you, she'd be a little angry. We can't forget the parents. Without the parents, none of this would be possible, and of course the teachers would not have jobs. And we thank you young people for making it this far. I'm not going to keep you long. I realize this is the last day of school, right? Yeah. How about that? And of course, you want to get out of here, but I'm sorry, you have to listen to me for a few moments. I talked to my wife about the speech. She says, well, we know that you talk a long time. You like to talk about as long and as much about anything as anybody I know except Dr. Cole. I think he has the record for carrying on conversations. But I want to talk to you just about three things, and I'm going to let you get out of here. At least you'll be done with me. Be honest. Be careful. And be yourself. What is the measure of good conduct nowadays? It's really kind of hard to discern what is good conduct and what is bad conduct. And it's really difficult to discern because we get this information from all over the place. And most of what we get is really bad news. We get it from the internet, we get it from the newspaper, and of course, we get it from the television. What's your measure of good conduct? When I was going to school so long ago, and some of you parents sitting out there was something called deportment. You actually got a grade for conduct. I don't think that's true anymore. It's not that we ignore it, because I think you're graded by your peers and by your parents on your conduct. Where do you get the measure of what is good and bad? You get it from the very people that are surrounding you now, from your peers, from your parents. This is something that we get at an early age, and it stays with us throughout life. The fact of the matter is, you've already got the measure of good conduct. It's developed at home. It's refined by teachers. It's honed in by your peers. Because sometimes your good friends remind you when you're doing good and when you're doing bad. Now, some of you, I realize that you're in the 8th grade and you may have read the book To Kill a Mockingbird. You may have seen the movie. Well, in case you haven't, let me tell you a little about it, because I think the book offers some good life lessons. The protagonist in this book is a man named Atticus Finch. Atticus Finch happened to be a lawyer. He was defending a man named Tom Robinson, a black man in the Old South who was accused of a pretty heinous crime. Atticus wasn't necessarily a great lawyer. In fact, some says he wasn't even a good lawyer, but he was a good man, and that's what was important. He had 2 children, one named Jim, a son, and a daughter whom he called Scout. In his defense of Tom Robinson, Scout became really concerned about her father. She looks at him and said, "Atticus," that's what she called him, "you must be wrong about all of this." Atticus looked down at his daughter. He says, "How's that, Scout?" "Well, most folks," she says, "seem to think that they're right and that you're wrong." He pondered this for a while. He looks down and he says, "They're certainly entitled to their opinion. They're entitled to think what they want. And they're certainly entitled to the full respect of their opinions. But before I can live with other folks, I've got to live with myself. The only thing that does not abide by majority rule is one's conscience. You've got to do the right thing, and you've got to do it all the time. It doesn't matter what other people think, you've got to be guided by your own conscience. Your friends, and I'm sure you've got plenty of them, should never, ever dictate how you act and what you think. Many times we get in groups, particularly amongst our peers, and we feel less responsibility. It's the group mentality. When we're in the group, it seems that we're acting for the group and not alone. We do things in groups that we never would do alone. Everybody's doing it is the group mentality. Everybody's doing it doesn't make it right. Good students have done bad things when they're placed in peer groups that influence them. They're pressured to believe that they're not responsible because we're doing this together. It's a matter of personal choice. It's usually a group who follows rather than lead. People who don't think or act for themselves tend to be followers. Be honest. Do the right thing, and you'll go far in life. Be careful. There's plenty of temptation here today. Unfortunately, nowadays, we don't give people, young people in particular, a second chance. You've heard it many times before. Zero tolerance of this, zero tolerance of that. If you look in your handbook, I'm sure there's something about zero tolerance. I'm not going to mention those things. You know what they are. There are too many lures for young folks. The internet tells you all of your desires can be fulfilled instantly. You can become instantly wealthy. You can become instantly beautiful. You can become instantly smart. You can become instantly strong. Well, let me tell you, instantly is wrong. It generally is. There's no quick fix. Be careful in deciding what to believe. Be careful in deciding who to believe. Be careful in deciding who your friends are. You know, I'm really grateful to be standing here today because, you know, I've been in 8th grade before, probably longer than I can remember. And I can remember one thing I wanted to be was smart. And I never learned that I was smart until my oldest son became 30 and he finally said to me, "I think you're smart." And I looked at him and said, "It took you that long?" He says, "Yeah. When I was in the 8th grade and 9th grade, I didn't think you knew anything." And I looked at him and I said, "Son, that's because when you're in the 8th grade, you knew everything." Isn't that right? Of course. Be careful. Be careful who you look up to. You know, I think that frequently we tend to look up to people who we think are important. Athletes, actors, entertainers. They become our role models. I tend to think that the role models are the people who are here today who are supporting you. The people who are your role models are the people who teach you, who feed you, who care for you. Who come to you in time of need. People you can touch. People you can call and ask questions. I can always call my role models. My mother, my father, my teachers. And interestingly enough, at some point, those very people will call upon you for advice. They'll call upon you because they know that you've gotten good advice, because you've had good role models. Be yourself. There's a song, and the lyrics said, "No need to struggle to be number one. Just be yourself and be the only one." Sometimes we're compared to siblings, other relatives, and friends. But we have to recognize that we're all different. We have different talents. We have different abilities. We're all different. Wouldn't the world be boring if there were just one color, one flower, one tree, one kind of car? People compare others because of ability. We're programmed to think just because there are two of a thing, that one is necessarily better than the other. And that's simply not true. There can be two good things. Everybody can be different and yet be good. Stand out, but yet take a stand. Be yourself. Be what it takes to make you. Be yourself and the world will be more interesting. Be careful and you'll live a long time. Be honest and you'll become someone's hero. Be yourself and you'll be happier in life. Thank you, good luck, and good wishes.